Hi, everybody.
Hello,
Welcome to
everybody. Okay, it looks like this is Vicky's brand new, and she is asking what is RAWK. RAWK is WikiTree version of. We have a nomination post where you can nominate a fellow WikiTreeer to have their branches of the tree worked on. So I put up a G2G post the month prior for nominations and one for people that would like to be work on the branches, which are called rockers. And you nominate someone, and then after a couple of weeks, we go ahead and choose 5 people and ask them if they would like their branches worked on. And they say yes. And then for that month, which this one was just in March, we work on their branches. 5 people, and 2 of them are here. Holly is one. Hi. Steve is the other. And Hello. Then the other 3 we had were Stephanie Freund, Andreas Jaswig, and Jason Nicely. I am so sorry for any mispronunciations of anyone's names. Andreas is over in Europe, so he's sleeping right now, so he wasn't able to make this. So, Steve or Holly, do you have any questions before we get started?
No, I'm excited.
Nope, I think I'm ready to go.
Okay, does anyone have any questions before we get started? Okay. And here we go. So 2025, we will have 4 RAWKs. The first one was in March. And there's a few of them. We have some that are regulars that do it. Not only was she a Rocky, she also helped to work on other people's lines, which we have had people do. People rocked in March. Issues right now. Okay, let's try this again. I apologize, but my internet, I'm really having issues with it right now, and I don't know why. So hopefully this works. So these are the 5, like I said, Holly, Andreas, Jason, Steve, and Stephanie. And then these are the rocking by the numbers. The starting number is the CC7, which is their number within 7 degrees of them. So it's connections within 7 degrees, and it can be in any direction. It can be through a spouse's family. So as long as they're within 7 degrees, that person counts. So as you can see, the starting numbers for them, I'm not going to go through everyone's. But we did do quite a bit. We increased, the total increase was 1,674 profiles that were added within their CC7 for all 5 of them. And then the badges that were earned, Steve received his 1K CC7 badge, which is awesome. So you can see that we have different levels of the different badges. When you get to those numbers, you get a badge that's on the screen. So let's start with Holly. She's been a number since 2024. So relatively new. Member of the Palatine Migration, Italy, United States, and Appalachia projects. She's done the 17 for 17 challenge, which this is the second year where there's a list of things that you can do. And for every time you complete 7 of the missions, 17 of the missions, you can get a sticker. And I love how she says, genealogy is about honoring the lives and stories of those who came before us, which we also have to remember ourselves. So we have neat apps and tools that we can use on WikiTree, and this is one of them, which is the circle that we use for, it's called 6 degrees, but it goes out to 7 degrees. And as you can see, the circle that's on the left, it has holes on it all around it. And if you look at the one on the right, it's all filled in and looks a little nicer. And then her fan chart, as you can see, there are holes in there, but this is a great thing. I like looking at fan chart to see where I need to work. How okay. So let's get to the first person of Holly's that who a fellow member of WikiTree found was a blind mechanic and carpenter. Now, Holly, do you know about Ronald E. Perry?
No.
Okay. Okay. So according to his Find a Grave memorial, Ronald E. Perry, who's 8 degrees from you, was totally blind and worked as a mechanic and carpenter. I just have a hard time picturing him being able to work as a mechanic being blind. A carpenter, I can see it a little easier, but as a mechanic, especially having to get in the car or under the car, I don't know about that. So although Ron was totally blind, he overcame his disability by becoming an accomplished mechanic, carpenter, and woodworker who simply could do anything in life with his hands that a sighted person can do. His talents never stopped amazing his families and friends. He was a proud former owner of small engine repair in Shenandoah,
Schenectady.
whatever, Schenectady. Mr. Perry was a member of the Schenectady Amateur Radio Club. And then I
Cool.
have a link to his Find a Grave on the bottom down there. Warren James, U.S. Army during World War II. He served in the Warrant Officers Branch with the 481st Anti-Aircraft Artillery Battalion in Central Europe, Normandy, Northern France, and Rhineland. He also ran for the office of Herkimer County, New York
Yep. Herkimer.
treasurer.
Oh, you froze again.
And my internet is acting up again. Yep. Okay. Can you see it now?
Yep.
Oh, this is not good. Okay. One of
Do you want to send me the file, Kathy, and I can do the slideshow?
Bars down here at the bottom of their, can't think of what it's called. But he did good. Don't know much about the military, but we do have people that do, so they're able to help and fill things out more. Okay. So now we come to Julia May Primer, your great grandmother. Do you know much about her?
No, I don't. Only what I've learned through, researching the tree, but I don't know any stories about her or anything.
Okay. Well, she was a graduate from Vickers Nursing Home. She also retired from being a machine operator from the Little Falls Felt Shoe Company. And going from nursing to a felt shoe company was quite a change of occupations. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We did have somebody that looked up to see if they could find anything, and they found the 1910 felt shoe made at the Little Falls Felt Shoe Company was a recent find on eBay.
Wow.
So that's a picture of the felt shoes that would have been made where she was working.
That's awesome.
So
great
I thought
find.
that was a great find.
Yes,
right there.
Absolutely. Very neat.
And then we go on to Andreas, who's not here. He's a WikiTreeer since 2018. He's a linguistic working in Ethiopia. He is now connected to the global tree, and he has ancestors from East Prussia and Germany, which are areas that can be harder for us to find information on. Now, when we first started, he had 33 profiles within his CC7, and he was not connected to the global tree. Within a couple of days, he went up to 158 and was connected to the tree. So for me, that was a great find that we were able to get him connected. I was hoping we could, and we did. I put a call out to the Poland project to ask for some help if they could help us with the East Prussia part of his tree. And they came through. This is there have been some hints. Hold on. I need to do something. Because I'm having internet issues, I'm going to go ahead and stop right now and see if I can get this to somebody else. I'm going to stop sharing for just a minute while we try and work on something. Is that okay? Okay.
We'll just try to do it so that I'm sharing my screen and Kathy's telling me to advance through the slides. So maybe that'll be a good workaround. So we're not taking up bandwidth. Hopefully that'll work for us. Thank you, everybody, for your patience. Okay, I just need to be approved there. It's just asking for approval there, Kathy, for your slideshow. Probably got an email. Looks like she froze again. Let's see.
Asher, are you able to get the?
It's asking, it's saying that I don't have access. It's saying I don't have access. I requested access to the file. You should be getting an email that's from me saying, please give me access. There we go. Okay. Here we go. Let me just get it up here.
Okay.
And I'm going to share my screen. There you go. And I'll get to where you were. There we go. All right. I'm on the page for Andreas Joswick. So you can go ahead. Do you want me to move to the next screen there, Kathy?
I'm not seeing anything.
Yeah, it's up on the screen. Can Holly and Steve, can you see the slideshow?
I can see it.
Okay. So just tell me when you're ready to go to the next slide, Kathy. It's right now, it's on the page for Andreas. It looks like she's frozen again. Okay. All right, so, oh, this is the 6 degrees for Andreas. Do you see it now, Kathy?
Okay. Let's see if this works better. I really hope this works better. Okay.
Can you see it up on the
So
screen?
there's his CC7. Yeah, now I see it. I completely lost my internet for a while.
Okay, gotcha.
So you okay. So Dee was asking about how you can see if you're connected to the tree. If you're on your profile or any profile, basically, well, if you're on your profile and you scroll down to the very bottom of it and you can see the connections to that theme.
To the theme for the week, the example profiles of the week.
The theme for that week. Also, may see like a yellow puzzle piece, and if you see it like a yellow puzzle piece looking person on a profile, they are not connected. Okay, Azure, can you go to the next screen, please?
Yep.
Okay, so there's his fan chart, which they have grown out a little bit. It's his paternal side that was the East Prussia, and the Poland project jumped in and they were able to help with that. And they've done some good work. There's leads that Andreas can, follow through with, possibly more records to look at when he has a chance.
That's exciting.
Which is very helpful, which is very exciting that, the person came and said, oh, not sure about this. So if you could go to the next slide, because I think I put it on one of the slides. Oh. How did that happen? Did something get missed? No. Oh, it would be further up. He's before Jason. Oh. What the heck?
Let's see.
Because it would have been right after the fan chart for Andreas.
No, looks like the next slide is.
Nope.
Is it
Oh, what
Gustav
the-
you want to see?
Okay. Yeah, let's do Gustav. That's the one that's weird that they got mixed up when I moved it a little bit. Okay. So this one, they found a marriage entry in the civil register that reveals birthdays and birthplaces of Gustav's parents. I'm not going to try and pronounce these names at all. And furthermore, the register name index reveals that the parents' marriage record is in there, and the actual records of the time frame are lost, though. But then I went to say that the baptism record for Gustav's father does exist in the parish that it belonged to. So those are really good clues of a place to start looking and where you can look some more. So then let's go ahead and move on to, I believe Jason is next. Yeah, he's been a WikiTree since 2025. So recently just joined. He's even newer than Holly. He's a member of the Appalachia Project, and at Fawn Time, like we just had, you'll find him on the Appalachia Roots. Okay. Then it should be if you can go up to his CC, the circle ones. Yeah, those. I'm sorry. And then he's got some holes. He was at 1,109 and increased to 1,329. So it looks better filled in than his fan chart. There we go. You can see all those are filled in, which is nice. Next, please. Henry A. Vance was one known children of William Edwards Vance and his wife, Mary Revel, and probably the only one who survived childhood. Henry married had 7 children, but only 3 of them. 1910 was a coal miner, and by 1910, his 16-year-old son Isaac joined him in the coal mines. The coal mines were a very dangerous place for people to work. And if you want more information on coal mines, I believe there are some videos on YouTube that our own Sandy Paddock did a series about coal mines, which are very interesting about it. And she actually had a coal miner that was on that talked about a little more. And if you're interested in that, let me know and I'll get you the link to those videos. Next slide, please. So then we come to John James Vance, and not all of Jason's connections married young. John is 6 degrees from Jason, and he stayed single until he was 68 years old and married Annie Allen in 1950 in Rockcastle County, and getting himself a ready-made family. He gained 2 stepsons, stepdaughter. I admire anyone who waited till he was 68 years to get married and take on a ready-made family. So kudos to John James Vance. Okay, next slide. Then we come to Joseph William Renner, known as, I guess, JW. He married Mary Ava Bradley on February 7, 1907. And according to the newspaper article on his Find a Grave memorial, little Joe started feeling badly and died unexpectedly on October 26, 1907 at home. He was survived by his young wife and daughter, Altha Cleo Renner, who was born a couple of weeks later on November 13, 1907. There could be more articles on that, so that would be something to look into to see if they had anything else more about, you know, why he was feeling bad, if they ever found the cause for that. Okay, next slide. Then we come to Steve, who's been a WikiTreeer since 2020, a member of the Appalachian U.S. projects, and at that time, he's on Appalachia roots. So you ready to see your stuff, Steve?
Yep, I am.
Okay. As your next slide, please. Okay. So then your CC7 went from 600 to 1,506.
Yeah, that's great.
Good increase.
Yes.
That's a great increase. On the next slide, you'll see your fan chart, which up to, you know, out 5 degrees, it's got everyone filled in there. And I did forget to mention on the fan charts, if you look above where either it has the portrait or the image, it has the person's WikiTree ID number, where Azure has the mouse pointing right there at the top, which is good to know. Next one. Then we come to Walter Flood James Jr., your third great-grand uncle. Walter Jones Jr. was a famed attorney. He argued over 300 cases before the U.S. Supreme Court, including McCulloch versus Maryland, more than any other attorney in American history by a large margin, over 100 more cases than even the famous Daniel Webster.
Wow, I never heard of him.
Did you know you had a famed attorney in the family?
I'll have to look him up and read about him. I'll make a note of that.
Yeah, he's got a nice biography written about him. So I was like, ooh, that's intriguing. Then we come to Dr. Walter Jones, a congressman and physician general. He was your fourth great-grandfather. Born in Colonial Williamsburg, is a certified NSSAR DAR patriot. Dr. Walter Jones was an Edinburgh-trained physician of prominence who was a delegate to the Virginia State Constitutional Convention of 1788 and a U.S. congressman from Virginia in 1797 to 1799 and 1803 to 1811. Also the physician general of the Middle Military Department, 1777.
Wow.
So, and if you look at his profile that's on the screen right there, that green rectangle area those are boxes that we put up when people have been in like the government, which shows when they served and who preceded them and who succeeded them.
Okay.
So if you're new and you come across profiles with that box, that's what that is for, is service, usually service in government. Next slide, please. And then Samuel H. Alexander, who is a World War I hero. Samuel Alexander was a soldier in World War I, injured twice, once severely, came home to work in the Ventress coal mine, died of complications of a mine explosion in 1928. Unfortunately, his brother Charles and his nephew Lee Peake also succumbed to their burns, making 1928 a sad year for the Alexander family. And then Ralph Dewey Longnecker. He died of scarlet fever at the age of 21. Researching him discovered he'd been in World War I from the state of Ohio. He was listed as Student Army Training Corps with Purdue University. Students would take college classes while training for the military. Oh, the war ended and Ralph was honorably discharged.
Yeah, I know a fair amount about Ralph. In fact, I've done a fair amount of research in that general side and part of the family. And another interesting story is during World War I, or actually probably right after World War I, Ralph was staying in a boarding house in Akron, Ohio, and one of his roommates or the person next door was Ben Addison. And when Ralph died of scarlet fever, Ben helped bring Ralph's body back to the farm in Indiana. And that's where he met my grandmother, Kitty Longnecker. So through Ralph, my grandparents met each other after he had already passed away, though, which is kind of an interesting story.
That's really neat. Wow.
Oh. Okay, next slide, please, Asher. Okay, then we come to Stephanie, and she's another that's been on WikiTree since 2024. She's a member of the Global Germany Appalachian Notables U.S. Cemeteries Palatine Migration and Quakers projects. And then she's a member of the Data Doctors, the Connectors, Rangers, and Arborist projects. Next slide, please. And then her CC7 went from 1,440 to 1,652. Next. Okay. And then her fan chart is filled out. Next, please. Okay. Then John Kirkwood Jr. Stephanie had some Scottish ancestors. And so on the first day, the chainsaw came out on one of her branches. This is when a branch of an ancestor is disconnected. This is usually due to there not being proof of a parent-child relationship. So even during challenges like this, we do have people that are in projects, and this was a member of the John Kirkland's parents were disconnected, but the correct parents were found and connected. It was actually a Scotland Project leader who was the one discovered the wrong parents and found the right ones. And this is the collaboration at work of WikiTree, when we have these different projects that come together that take a look and they verify the relationships. And this is a good example of when someone may be following the wrong path because they have the wrong parents connected, which does happen. And so we say the chainsaw comes out when we disconnect the branch. And we have had to do this even so. It's definitely, like Aaron says, the power we areas that we're going to be working in the tree, we reach out to those projects and say, hey, are you able to help us in these areas? Okay. Sven Danielson found an article on the Swedish National Archives about the ancestor
Looks like we lost her. So let's just give her a minute here. Sorry, you guys. Are you back, Kathy? Looks like she changed position, but it's frozen again. Oh, there we go. Let's see.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay. I'm going to have my video off. Maybe that will help with my. So Stephanie has a home doll line World article on the Swedish National Archives about the ancestor of home doll. And they turns out many the Holmdel is on this information is as the Holmdel family descended from the tax farmer per Munson. His grandson, the tax farmer, was Sven Danielson, who is this gentleman. In Holmskog Versum Calm was the father of the organist, Jonas Peter, in Berg Chrome. So there's going to be some information more regarding that. So that's very interesting that there's an article about that in the Swedish National Archives. Next slide, please. Okay. So then I went and looked at what as you can see, there are degrees there. Andreas is the farthest out. He was just recently. Hopefully, we can work on his tree more, get more connections, and bring him closer to everybody. And sometimes I just see how close they are at the beginning and how during the challenge. So Holly and Steve are 23 degrees from each other. Okay, and okay, and this is the end of it. That RAWK is here in 2025, and then our next RAWK event will take place in June. So the G2G post for the nominations and signing up to help will go up in reserving WikiTrees, and come join the RAWK team. Thank you. Does anyone have any questions?
Looks like Dee found a photo of Joseph William Runner.
Oopsie. Yeah. Dee, can you put that on his profile?
All right.
Okay, Holly or Steve, do you have any questions?
I just wanted to thank everyone, everyone that helped participate in researching my family and raising my CC7. Thanks a bunch. That was really appreciated.
Yes, definitely. Same here. Thank you all. It was a lot of fun.
Glad we could be of help.
It's always so much fun to see everybody coming
Okay.
together and finding more connections.
So I
Great
guess
job,
that will do
everybody.
it. Yeah, it is. It's fun.
All right. Well, we'll go ahead and sign off. The next WikiTree YouTube stream
Okay.
will be on Saturday for
So
the
that
roundup.
will do
That's at 10
do it.
a.m. Eastern. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in, and we'll see you around the tree.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.